Dear student, today we will discuss about the agrarian classes. We know that India is a big democratic society where different types of people live in India, like on the basis of caste, on the basis of religion, on the basis of races, etc. Similarly, a large number of population still live in rural area. That rural area is known as village society, village community. Many scholars discuss about the cultivators class, peasant class or agrarian class. Many scholars like Robert Redfield, Theodore Sanin, Andre Bataille, etc. discuss about different classes prevailing in peasant society or in cultivated society or in village community. In this discussion, we will first discuss about meaning of agrarian society, then the views of Andre Bataille, views of Robert Redfield, views of Theodore Sanin, and what type of classes present in different villages on the basis of land ownership. Those who are big land owners, small farmers, cultivators, sharecroppers, etc. We know that despite significant growth and development in industries and or manufacturing sectors, a large part of Indian population still depends on agricultural activities, because we know that agriculture is predominant activities of Indian society for their sustenance. Despite policies to actively engage people in employment in the industrial production sector, many people still prefer to have a piece of land they can call their own land and pursue some form of agriculture and cultivation. Ghanshyam Shah said that those who depend on agriculture are differentiated in terms of their relationship with land ownership, such as absentee landlords, supervisory cultivators, owner cultivators, sharecroppers, tenants and landless laborers. Of these various populations groups involved in agriculture, only peasants and laborers have remained functional in the contemporary era. Sociologists classify societies on the basis of major economic activities such as industrial and agricultural activities in terms of class structure. This class structure is prevailing in industrial society as well as in agrarian society, as these activities suggest industrial production dominates economic activities in industrial societies and agricultural production dominates economic activities in agrarian societies. Colonialism gave rise to society in which a mixture of both types of activities is seen, and India is the best example. India is a country where this mix exists and economic activities are influenced by both social and economic factors. Both type of activities prevailing in Indian society, that means industrial and agrarian structure. Therefore, sociologists and economists began to study Indian agriculture and agrarian social structure. In Indian society, agriculture is still a major economic activity. It is in this context that various theoretical positions on agriculture and the nature of agriculture classes in India will be discussed. Different types of classes still prevailing in Indian society and similarly in village community also. In real sense, when talking about human communities, human settlements can be classified as cities, towns and villages. Agrarian class structure is the main feature of village or rural community. The main occupation or economic activity of the people of rural community is based on agriculture. It means agriculture is predominant activity of village community. The peasant class structure in India is the result of combination of economic and social forces. Therefore, the mobility of the agrarian class structure in India results in different classes. Explaining the meaning of agrarian society or agricultural society, it can be said that these are those settlements and groups of people where livelihood is mainly acquired by cultivating land and running related activities like animal husbandry or other related agricultural occupations. Agricultural production or farming is clearly an economic activity. However, agricultural production, like all other types of economic activity, is also an activity carried out within the framework of social relations. People involved in cultivating the lands also interact with each other in various social capacities. The people engaged in this business not only interact with each other, that is in the same occupation, but they also interact regularly with all the people who provide them different types of services required for the cultivation of the land. Different types of occupation related with cultivation, they interact with each other. For example, in the old system of Jajmani relations, in the Indian countryside, landowners and cultivators had to depend on members of different caste groups for different services required at different stages of cultivation. For example, Brahmins, blacksmith, farmers, landowners, feudal society, etc., they interact with each other. In return, the peasants were obliged to give a share of the agricultural produce to the families who served them. This is known as Jajmani system, and this Jajmani system is the backbone of village community. Those who provide service are known as Jajman, and the persons who related with Jajmans are known as the Kamins. So, Jajman and Kamins are the backbone of rural community or agrarian society. As we seen in the context of other social interactions, all these exchanges have place within an industrial framework. The most important aspect of the institutional structure of agrarian society in the pattern of land ownership and the nature of the relations between the owner or officers of the land and those who till it, who plow it, cultivate it. It means two types of structure is prevailing. One is landowner and second is cultivator, those who are also landowner, small landowners as well as the laborers class. There are also many landowners who have land, but instead of cultivating it themselves, they often lease it to tenants or sharecroppers. This type of class is prevailing in village community mostly. Similarly, those who cultivate their own land or lease land from others often employ laborers. Hence, a class emerged as laborer class in agrarian society. For this, they have certain conditions which are in different forms. Some could employ workers on regular basis, some on casual basis, and others on contract basis. The nature of laborers' employment and the nature of workers' employers' relationship with farmers or landlords are important aspects of a given agrarian structure. Both are interact with each other. Those who are landowner known as feudal lords, those who are landless laborers are known as laborers. Both interact with each other because both have their own need and they want to fulfill with the help of cultivation or with the help of agrarian activities. To understand the concept of agrarian society, it is necessary to know who has been called a farmer, because agrarian society is also formed from farmers. Many sociologists and anthropologists have clarified the concept of agrarian society in their own way. Among them, the ideas of André Bataille, Robert Redfield, Theodore Shanin are prominent. According to the Chambers 20th Century Dictionary, peasant is one who is a villager, a pastoralist whose occupation is rural work, and the peasant class is one that includes farmers or pastoral laborers who till the land in the English language there is a connection between the rural life and the life of a labor. This is certainly true for pre-industrial European society, but it cannot be considered for every society and culture. The meaning of peasant has been taken from an uneducated, uncivilized person coming in the low income group, but this is not true nowadays. About this, who are peasant, who are agrarian laborers, Andre Bataille discussed in details. The views of Andre Bataille, when we discuss about the views of Andre Bataille, many meanings of peasants have been taken in the common colloquial vocabulary, out of which Andre Bataille has thrown light on the three types of classes prevailing in agrarian society. First, the peasant is attached to the land. He not only lives on the land but makes it profitably by his labor. Legally, he could be the owner of the land, a tenant cultivator or a laborer without land ownership rights, but in all these cases he earns his livelihood by labor. Some people use the word peasant for land owning farmers, while some others include hired land cultivators and landless laborers as well. They are known as also landless laborers. Second category, it is believed that in most of the societies, the status of the farmer is low. Those people who praise the farmers for being hardworking, simple and thrifty accept that his real status in the society is not high. Often the peasantry is assumed to have the opposite characteristics of the aristocracy. Here the term elite is used for a group that earns its livelihood from the land, that is known as feudal lot or landowners, landlords, etc., but without engaging itself in labor related activities. In order to stratification, the status of the peasantry is considered not only from the economic point of view but also from the cultural point of view. Even if the people of this class are the owners of the land which they cultivate, it is still very small in size and the income is so meager that the family can barely maintain itself. Peasants are also considered unsophisticated, uncivilized or uneducated. To them, it is understood it as a unfamiliar with the ways of civilized life. The third category is peasants are considered to be the counterpart or complement of the laborers. It means to say that for peasant and laborers, it is understood that they come under the same category. It means peasant and laborers are in the same class. Assuming this, it becomes clear that the peasants are exploited by different sections. On the one hand, there is the exploited peasant class, and on the other hand, they are exploiters. Similarly, as Marx discussed about the capitalist and bourgeois class, one is exploiter, exploitee. In this way, similarly prevailing this situation in peasant society also. The second views of Robert Redfield. Robert Redfield has discussed in detail about the peasant society, peasant community, cultivating society, cultivator, etc. Robert Redfield has defined an agrarian society as those rural people who maintain control over the cultivate their land for subsistence and whose agriculture is a part of their traditional way of life and which is not shared by elites or urban people. They look up to and are influenced by those whose way of life is similar to their own but of a more civilized kind. There are two main elements in Redfield's definition of agrarian society. The first element tells their way of living and the second element tells their relations with the people. According to Redfield, small producers who produce for their own consumption, Therefore, further Redfield has considered only those small producers as peasants who run their livelihood and way of life only by plowing the land. They are also included in landless laborers. They work on the land and produce for their own livelihood. Similarly, the views of Theodor Schenin. Theodor Schenin developed an ideal type of agrarian society, defining farmers as small agricultural producers. These are people who, with the help of simple tools and the labor of their families, produce directly or indirectly for their own consumption and to meet the obligations of political and economic power holders. He identified four independent aspects of agricultural societies. The first is the peasant family functioned as the basic multi-dimensional unit of social organization. The family farm operates as the principal unit of farmers' property, production, consumption, welfare, social reproduction, identity, prestige, sociality and well-being. The individual showed a tendency to adopt a formal family role behavior and patriarchal authority. Second type of class is farming served as the main means of livelihood. Peasant farming was characterized by a traditional defined social organization and a low level of technology. Third is peasant societies followed by specific cultural patterns associated with the way of life of a small rural community. Peasant culture often conformed to traditional norms of behavior and was characterized by face-to-face relationship. Those who are living in peasant society or village community or village society. And the fourth type is the peasants were almost always dominated by outsiders. The peasants were invariably kept at arm's length from the source of power. Schenin argued that their political subordination was also linked to their cultural subordination and economic exploitation. On the basis of all these three views of Andre Bataille, Schenin and Robert Redfield, we can discuss about the classes found in village community, prevailing in rural community, and that is known as the class analysis of agrarian societies. The concept of class was first used by Marx in the context of the industrial societies of the West. Marx discussed about class society. On the basis of his views, he discussed about the one class is capitalist, those who are the owners of the means of the production, and those second category is laborers or bourgeois, those work on the machines or means of machines. It means two classes are prevailing in industrial society. One is capitalist society known as proletariat, and second is the laborers class known as the bourgeois class. On the basis of this type of ideas, we can discuss about the agrarian class structure in the village community. Subsequently, many scholars over the years have used the concept of class to understand social structure in other system as well. Using the Marxist method of class analysis, Lenin, during the beginning of the 20th century, presented an analysis of the agrarian setting and class differentiation of peasant in Russia in his famous article writing the initial draft thesis on the agrarian question. Similarly, the leader of the Chinese Revolution, Mao Tse-tung, applied the Marxist concept of class in his analysis of the Chinese peasantry in how to differentiate classes in rural areas. Over the years, the writings of Lenin and Mao have become the basis of understanding agrarian class structure in various society. On the basis of these views, we can classify the whole agricultural society into different classes. Indian society has been organized on the basis of caste since the beginning. Jajmani system in the caste system was the foundation stone of the rural society. However, the caste relations in the Jajmani systems began to disintegrate after the colonial rurals brought about changes in Indian agriculture. The process of modernization and development initiated by the Indian state during the post-independence period further weakened the traditional social structure. While caste remains an important social institution in contemporary Indian society, still caste is prevailing and play dominant role in village community. Although agricultural land is most part of India is still owned by traditional farming caste group. Their relationship with landless servants is no longer regulated by norms of the caste system. Landless members of the lower caste now work as agricultural laborers alongside the cultivators. Cultivators are the landowners or landlords and those who work on the land known as the landless laborers. We can say that in a sense caste has replaced by caste in the Indian rural community. However, the agrarian social structure is still marked by diversity. In D.N. Dhanagre has said, the relationship between classes and the social structure of groups occupying a specific class position in relation to land control and land use in India is so diverse and complex that it is difficult to include them all in single category. On the basis of the classes, we can say that in society different classes still prevailing on the basis of land ownership or landless laborers. Despite the categories and diversities in the agricultural sectors in India, some scholars have attempted to lump them together into some general categories. Like Daniel Thorner's efforts was important in classifying the Indian peasant population into a framework of social classes. Thorner suggested that the agricultural population of India can be divided into different class categories by adopting 3 criteria. On the basis of this criteria, we can classify the whole village community or peasant community into 3 important classes. The first class is the type of income earned from the land, such as rent or fruits of own cultivation or wage. This is one type of class. Second is the nature of the rights held in the land, such as ownership or tenancy or sharecropping rights or no rights at all. This is second category of peasant. And the third is the extent of field work actually done, such as absentees who do not work at all or those who do partial work or total work done with family, labours or wage work or others work done. This is third type of category. Based on these criteria, he suggested that the following model of agrarian class structure in India is: one is Malik, that is owner, whose income is mainly derived from property rights in land and whose common interest is to maintain the level of rent by keeping the level of wage down. They collect rent from tenants, subtenants and sharecroppers. They can be further divided into 2 categories: big land owners, those who have big area of land under their possessions, who have rights over vast tracts of land, many villages. They are absentees owner, tenants who have no interest in lands management. Second is wealthy zamindar or landlords, owners of considerably holding but usually in the same village, and although doing on farm work, oversee the cultivation and take a personal interest in the management and improvement of the land. So, first who do not manage, second is who want to manage. And second category is peasants are hard working farmers who own a small piece of land and work mostly with the labor of themselves and their family members. They work together. They have very less land as compared to the Malik, that is landowners. They may also be divided into two subcategories: small landlords, small jamidars who have holding sufficient to support a family, or large cultivators who may not own many lands but cultivate fairly large holding which enables them to sustain their families without having to work as wage laborers. And the third category is laborers, those who do not own land and earn their livelihood mainly by working with others as daily wage laborers or sharecroppers. So, three types of categories still prevailing in Indian society or village community. Thorner's classification of agricultural population has not been very popular in the midst of agricultural changes in India. The development of capitalist relations in the agricultural sector of economy has also changed the old class structure. For example, Malik, that is landlords, have become entrepreneurial farmer in most areas of India. Similarly, most of the landless laborers have started working as tenant farmers and sharecroppers. Furthermore, capitalist development in agriculture did not discriminate among the peasantry in the way that some Marxist analysts had predicted. In contrast, the size of the medium scale cultivators has increased. Middle farmers, known as middle farmers, that have limited number of lands on their own possessions. The more popular classification of agrarian social structure and change in India is the division of agrarian population into 5 classes in terms of categories. These are all derived from the Lenin-Mao schema, but in terms of actual operation, they are essentially based on land ownership, which invariably determines their relationship with other categories of the population in the rural environment and also outside the village. At the top are the big landlords who still exist in some part of the country. They have very large holding, in some cases more than 100 acres. However, unlike the old jamidars, they do not always give their land to tenant and sharecroppers. Some of them organize their farms like modern industry, employ a manager and day laborers, and produce for the market. Big farmers come after the big landlords. The size of their holdings varies from 15 acres to 50 acres or even more in some areas. They usually supervise their farms personally and work with daily wage laborers. Agricultural works on their farm is done with the help of agricultural machines, and they use modern agricultural inputs like chemical fertilizers and hybrid seeds. They invariably belong to the locally dominant caste and exercise considerably influence over the local power structure at the village level as well as at the state level. The third category, the next category, is the medium farmers who have relatively small land holding between 5 acres to 10 or 15 acres. Socially like the big farmers, they too mostly come from the locally dominant caste group. However, unlike the big farmers, they do most of the work on the farms with their own laborers and the laborers of their families. They employ wage laborers during the peak season such as monsoon, harvesting or sowing season. Small and marginal farmers are the fourth class of farmers in India. The size of their holding is small, less than 5 acres, and in some cases less than 1 acre. They do almost all agriculture work with their own laborers and rarely employ others to work on their farms. They are among the most indebted sections of the population in the Indian rural areas. As families grow and holdings become more divided, their numbers are increasing in most part of the India. And the last category of the agricultural population is the landless laborers. A large number of them belong to the ex-untouchables or Dalit caste group. Most of them do not have any cultivable land of their own. Their proportion of the total agriculture population varies from state to state. They are among the poorest of the poor in rural India. Not only do they live in a miserable condition with insecure source of income, but many of them also have to borrow money from big cultivators and in return place their labor power to them like bonded laborship, etc. On the whole, we can summarize on the views of the Robert Redfield, Shanin and Andre Bataille, D.N. Dhanagre, etc., we can say that sociologists often classify different classes, different types of society based on the dominant economic activities. A society in such classification is also an agriculture society. It is society where the main source of income is generated from agriculture or activities related to agriculture. In such a society, the majority of the population is engaged in agricultural activities and the income of individual member is dependent on the production and the sale of agriculture products. The structure of the farming class in India can be seen mainly in 4 classes. 3 of these classes are involved in agriculture activities. These 3 are landlords, tenant and laborers. The 4th category is made up of people who are not involved in agricultural activities. Agrarian class structure is a part of rural social structure in India. However, this classification was rejected by Daniel Thorner as he believed that a person could belong to all 3 farming classes at once. An agrarian society is one whose main characteristics is agriculture. In an agrarian society, most people are involved in some or the other activity related to cultivation or agrarian activities. Peasant class structure is defined by the types of agricultural activities that constitute the occupations of people of a farming society. The more popular classification of agrarian social structure and change in India is the division of agrarian population into 5 classes. They are big landlords, big farmers, medium farmers, small and marginal farmers and landless laborers. On the basis of all these, we can say that class system is still prevailing in Indian society as in urban societies. In economic society like industrial society where different classes are there, similarly in agrarian society or village society different classes are there like big farmers or malik or landlords or landless laborers or sharecroppers or cultivators, etc., etc.